Hi friends, welcome back to our channel. Recently, we have received somber news about the passing of some extraordinary talents. Today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. We will also recap the stars we have recently lost. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Mitzi McCall, whose 5-decade resume in entertainment included 11 films, 14 TV shows, and many animated series voiceovers, died August 9th at her home in Studio City, California, at age 91. No details on cause were immediately available. Her husband and comedy partner, Charlie Brill, confirmed her death in a Facebook post. "I lost my Mitzi last night. Rest in peace, my one and only love. Rest in peace and laughter." McCall and Brill appeared on The Ed Sullivan Show on February 9, 1964, better known as the U.S. television debut of the Beatles. The pair's act can be seen on the DVD of the Beatles' appearance on the show. They were interviewed in 2005 for Public Radio International's Big Break episode of This American Life regarding their Beatles-Sullivan experience, including a dressing room encounter with John Lennon. McCall started her entertainment career on the Kitty Castle program on KDKA-TV in Pittsburgh. Moving to Hollywood, she appeared on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In and was also a series regular on such series as Life Goes On and on Silk Stockings. She provided the voice of Auntie Marina in the animated series Snorks, the voice of Mother Goose in Mother Goose and Grimm, the voice of Sylvia Jenkins in Free for All, and a variety of voices on the Paw Paws. McCall made guest appearances on the TV shows Seinfeld, The Twilight Zone, Maude, Dharma and Greg, and Chuck, as well as voiceover work for many cartoons. In 1971, she was the voice of Penny on the Flintstones spin-off The Pebbles and Bomb Bomb Show. McCall and Brill had a comedy recording, From Our Point of View, released in 1967 by ABC Records. She is survived by her husband. Jack Carlson, whose iconic arrest video while eating a succulent Chinese meal turned him into a meme, has died. He was 82. Carlson was reported by The Guardian to have died surrounded by family Wednesday. He walked a full and colorful path, and despite the troubles thrown at him, he lived by his motto, "To keep on laughing," his family said in statement. Carlson became an icon years after the arrest video that came outside a Chinese restaurant in Brisbane. In the video, he bellowed, "This is Democracy Manifest," as he was being arrested by police and pushed into a police car. He then questioned loudly, "What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?" Which immediately gained meme status. The arrest took place in 1982, but the video only emerged in 2009 after it was uploaded to the internet. Carlson was reported by The Guardian to have been a small-time crook and serial prison escaper who had many aliases. A documentary on his life, The Man Who Ate a Succulent Chinese Meal, in which he revisits the restaurant, is set for release in March 2025. In an interview with The Guardian recently, director Heath Davis described Carlson as the last Australian larrikin. Kevin Sullivan, a pro wrestler who built a persona and considerable fame in the 1980s and 90s as a devilish villain in Kiss-like makeup, who battled good guys including Hulk Hogan and Dusty Rhodes, has died. He was 74. His death was announced today by World Wrestling Entertainment. No details were provided, but Sullivan had been in ill health in recent months. WWE is saddened to learn Kevin Sullivan has passed away at age 74, the organization's statement reads. A unique and influential figure in sports entertainment history, Sullivan found success both in the ring and behind the scenes with his penchant for far-out ideas that pushed creative boundaries. The statement continues, as a villain, Sullivan was a major rival for the ring's most legendary heroes, including Dusty Rhodes, Hulk Hogan, and the Road Warriors. He specialized in leading dangerous factions, which included his Wicked Army of Darkness, Collegiate Bullies the Varsity Club, and the Wild Dungeon of Doom, which introduced Big Show to the wrestling world. The one-time Taskmaster also became a creative force behind the scenes for WCW. Born October 26, 1949 in Boston, Sullivan was an amateur wrestler in his hometown during the 1970s, quickly turning pro under the name Johnny West. Wrestling for various regional promotional organizations, Sullivan would by the 80s take on the name and heel persona of the Boston Battler and eventually the Prince of Darkness. Taking full advantage of the decade's so-called satanic panic, Sullivan presented himself as a cult leader and an occultist, complete with a female valet known as the Fallen Angel. Sometimes simply known as Woman, she was portrayed by Nancy Toffoloni, Sullivan's wife at the time. Sullivan and Toffoloni divorced in 1997. 10 years later, Nancy Toffoloni Benoit and her 7-year-old son Daniel were murdered by then-husband Chris Benoit, a pro wrestler who died by suicide after the murders. Sullivan and Chris Benoit were rivals in the ring during the mid-1990s. By 97, Sullivan had devised a routine in which he heard voices from someone he called the Master. He lost a feud match with Benoit in 1997, apparently designed to allow Sullivan to pivot from ring performances to behind-the-scenes work as a wrestling booker. An on-camera storyline in which Sullivan lost his valet, played by wife Toffoloni, to Benoit reflected real life. Sullivan and Toffoloni divorced in 1997, and Toffoloni married Benoit in 2000. The double murder-suicide occurred in 2007. In May of this year, a GoFundMe page was set up for Sullivan who, according to the page, was facing a critical medical emergency and financial crisis following an accident he suffered while in Florida for autograph signings. He reportedly underwent surgery and suffered complications including sepsis and encephalitis. Chichi Rodriguez, considered one of the most charismatic figures in pro golf, has died at age 88, according to the Associated Press. No cause of death or location was given. Rodriguez was one of golf's great entertainers. His comedic antics included placing his hat over holes as a way to stop the birdies from escaping. After sinking a big putt, he might pretend to sheath his putter at his belt, like a sword that had been used in battle. As a result, he attracted some of the circuit's largest galleries. Some of the players objected to me putting my hat over the hole, so former Commissioner Joe Day asked me to stop, Rodriguez once told the LA Times. Born in Rio Piedras, Puerto Rico, on October 23, 1935, he nearly died at age 4 from rickets and tropical sprue, a chronic deficiency disease. Named Juan Antonio Rodriguez, he picked up the nickname Chichi as a kid when he played baseball. His PGA Tour bio notes that he worked as a caddy in his native country, learning to play golf by smacking a tin can with a guava tree limb. He turned pro in 1960 and notched his first PGA Tour win at the 1963 Denver Open Invitational. He also won the 1964 Lucky International Open, the 1964 Western Open, the 1967 Texas Open, the 1968 Sahara Invitational, the 1972 Byron Nelson Classic, and the 1979 Tallahassee Open. He played in 591 events and made 422 cuts. He also was a member of the victorious 1973 U.S. Ryder Cup team. Rodriguez founded the Chichi Rodriguez Youth Foundation in 1979. In 1989, he was awarded the Bob Jones Award, the U.S. Golf Association's highest honor, for distinguished sportsmanship. Chichi Rodriguez's passion for charity and outreach was surpassed only by his incredible talent with a golf club in his hand, said PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan. A vibrant, colorful personality both on and off the golf course, he will be missed dearly by the PGA Tour and those whose lives he touched in his mission to give back. The PGA Tour sends its deepest condolences to the entire Rodriguez family during this difficult time. Connie Chiume, the South African actor known for her role as tribal leader Zawawari in Marvel Studios' Black Panther and 2022 sequel, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, died Wednesday at a Johannesburg hospital. She was 72. Her family announced the death on social media. A cause has not been disclosed. The South African government paid tribute to Chiume on X. Our heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of multi-award-winning and legendary actress Connie Chiume. Her outstanding work will always be remembered. Born June 5, 1952, as Gabasile Connie Chiume in South Africa's Free State province of Welcome. She later studied to be a nurse and then a teacher, two of the limited options open to Black South Africans under apartheid. In the late 1970s, she joined a traveling musical group before being cast in the South African stage musical Ipintombi. Subsequent stage credits would include roles in Porgy and Bess and The Little Shop of Horrors. Returning to South Africa after the fall of apartheid, She appeared in many TV series and films before her Hollywood breakthrough as a tribe elder in the fictional kingdom of Wakanda. Critical and audience response was more than enough to warrant a return 5 years later in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Billy Beane, a former Los Angeles Dodger who went on to become the first diversity chief for Major League Baseball, died on Wednesday. He was 60. Major League Baseball said in a statement that the cause was acute myeloid leukemia, but gave no location details. Beane was the second Major League player to come out as gay. Glenn Burke, an outfielder for the Los Angeles Dodgers and Oakland Athletics, announced his sexual orientation after he retired in 1982. Beane retired in 1995 after playing for the Dodgers, Detroit Tigers, and San Diego Padres. Beane was named Major League Baseball's first ambassador for inclusion in 2014. Since 2022, he had been the organization's SVP of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. He worked with all 30 clubs educating players on inclusion and social justice initiatives. He made baseball a better institution, the baseball commissioner, Rob Manfred, said in the statement, both on and off the field by the power of his example, his empathy, his communication skills, his deep relationships inside and outside our sport, and his commitment to doing the right thing. Of his retirement, done in part to hide a relationship, Beane said, "Baseball I knew wasn't ready for a guy like me.